with another 49ers film breakdown. This time we are going to be breaking down the tape against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are going to look at how and why the San Francisco 49ers absolutely dominated the Jags defense with their potent offense. Obviously, we know what it is. Brock Purdy scored 3 touchdowns through the air. Deebo Samuel added 1 on the ground, but it's the small things. It's the small things that add up to basically continue to build on why the 49ers seen success versus the Jags and maybe why they haven't in the last couple games heading into the bye. So sit back, relax. I'm going to just run through clips that I think are worth watching. And we'll break down the offensive line. We'll break down everything in between. So hopefully you guys enjoy. In the meantime, smash that like button, drop an SDS in the chat, and let's break down some film. It's good tape. Been waiting for this good tape, and we're going to watch it right here. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, gang. Let's get into it. Let's get after it. Let's watch some film. We have multiple keys in this game and some things to take away. And shout out to the SDS dropping in the building. Definitely some big takeaways from this game. And when I'm looking at, some of the differences, whether it's in the run game, whether it's in the passing game, what's the big deciding factor into why the 49ers offense performed the way they did, we got some consistency. Up front. And thanks to Jonathan Feliciano. So we're going to look at Jonathan Feliciano. He had a really good day. The bookends struggled a little bit. It was really easily abundant to see that Trent was still working back through his injury. Definitely was not 100% at all, but he gutted it out. And but we're going to look at a bunch of different things. Even right here, right off the bat, first snap, you're going to get Jonathan Feliciano pulling on a counter variation play. As you can see, he's going to be able to kick out right here on Walker. Juice is going to pull up the hole right behind him. He's going to get his hat on 33, and then you're going to get a down block double to backer from Burford and McKivitz. It's not a bad start. It's obviously not a big gainer, but we can live with that. That's a chunk run that we want to start drives with. Sets up second and manageable, 2nd and 5s. Yeah, we like that. Gives the 49ers a ton of freedom to do things like this. And one of the main topics that has come up, when the 49ers lost the 3 games in a row, was the importance of Deebo Samuel to the offense and all of those different types of things. Again, just watch Deebo moving across the formation. You're going to have a player, you got eyes on him. They instantly alert to a run to the left. You can see all the defenders flowing to the left side in alert to this run to the left. It's going to be play action naked boot. Purdy's going to have a unblocked defender in his face, and Purdy does what he normally does, makes the difficult throws look really easy and routine. Again, it's not easy to make throws with a defender right in your face, and you can see the margin of error for Purdy to get this ball to CMC. Not bad. Not bad at all. We like that. We like that quite a bit. And again, not a bad it's all about how we start, right? We don't want to start behind the sticks. We want to be able to get first and second manageable downs, and the success that follows as a result is, you can definitely tell. So another thing when we talk about Deebo Samuel's importance to the offense, you have Deebo Samuel at the bottom of your screen, and they're in a 2-by-2 formation. You have CMC flank to the left, and they're going to bring Deebo in an orbit motion. And look at the defense. The second Deebo starts moving, you have I think that's a safety, Andre Cisco, step up to the line of scrimmage. You have 32 flow with Deebo, and you have linebackers shift to the left. They completely forget about George Kittle. Like, George just literally pops out into this open hole in the defense, and Purdy just flips it to him, and it's a huge gain. So this is on tape, a perfect example of having Deebo Samuel on the field, like how these defenses have to pay attention to him and what it does to help create opportunities for others. And it's the same thing that goes with CMC and all these different guys. So look at how alert they are to Deebo Samuel coming across the formation, and they just flip it to George Kittle. So again, this play to me perfectly exemplifies the importance of Deebo Samuel to the offense with or without the football. And you can see what lanes are opened up and what is created as a result. And Brock Purdy does his job, and he flips it out to George Kittle. Brad, did you think Brock's throw to Ayuk for the touchdown was a bad play? Shanahan thought so. We will talk about that play right now because, as you can see, there it is. So, again, this was Shanahan made headlines by adamantly sharing that he thought this was one of the worst decisions that Brock Purdy has ever made in his career. From a coach's perspective, I can understand. I don't feel like Kyle needed to say all that, but from a coach's perspective, I understand. Like, look at this is a highly difficult throw. The probability of completing this pass is probably extremely slim because you have a player rolling to the left, right-handed quarterback. He's got to flip his hips. He wanted Kittle to, I think, keep going to the corner of the end zone, but Kittle didn't see Brock kind of pointing over there, and he faded back to the inside. So you got two players in the same zone, which just made it real muddy. And to be honest, hey, shout out to Ayuk. That little push might have been enough to get this ball out of the way. So I can understand why Kyle Shanahan probably doesn't love this decision because clearly everything that went down on this play happened as best it could. I mean, to be moving away, which Brock does this all the time. He's made throws like this the last 3 weeks in a row. So this isn't new to him. But I mean, that's a crazy throw. Fading away, going back across your body into the teeth of the defense. Yeah, I could see why coach didn't like it, but also on the same sentiment, what a phenomenal throw by Brock Purdy. And at a certain point, we got to let our playmakers make plays, right? Like if this was just like a completely one-off type scenario, like where Brock doesn't do this ever, maybe. But he does this pretty consistently. He did it against Minnesota. He did it on almost back-to-back plays against the Bengals. A huge third down conversion to Kittle, and he scored a touchdown to CMC. So he's done this. I mean, that takes some arm strength to be moving away, fading, getting over two defenders, and floating this ball right to Ayuk. That's pretty crazy, man. That's a pretty crazy throw. So, listen, I can understand on one hand why Kyle doesn't like it, but I also do like the cojones, the intangible aspect and the confidence that Brock has in himself to be able to make this thing go. Like obviously you see where he's pointing. He wanted Kittle to go to the corner. He wanted Kittle to fade to the outside, but Kittle went back inside. And that, when you've got basically a jump ball situation, it's not ideal while you're fading. But hey, when life gives you lemons, score touchdowns. And that's what Brock did. So two things can be true. Two things of, yeah, Kyle doesn't like it. I can understand why he doesn't like it, but phenomenal play by Brock. This is the Brock Purdy that we've just really come to know. This is such a standard part of his game. I think of Jimmy Garoppolo because he's our most recent guy that we can compare to and contrast to, where Jimmy was automatic was in the very short part of the field on slant routes. Brock is surgical on these deep in breaking routes. He is phenomenal when it comes to completing these passes. It's just such a natural part of his game. You've got run action up front, so you're going to get Burford pulling, you got Juice pulling. So you got play action. He moves in the pocket, resets, holds safety. You can see his eyes are looking to the left. That holds the safety out of the spot and keeps him on Kittle. And he comes back right underneath into the hole that's vacated by Kittle clearing it out. And he bangs it right on Brandon Ayuk for a phenomenal, just makes it look easy. It's literally pass and catch for Brock Purdy on these throws that are like 20 to 30 yards downfield over the middle. He's great at it, man. He really is. And it's not a fluke. These are throws that he makes routinely, and it's just a part of his game. So when you're trying to check the box of who Brock is and what he's good at, that's one of those things you can check. Brock is surgical on deep. I would say those are deep. I mean, you're throwing 25, 30 yards in breaking routes. It's not like a deep 50-yard throw, but it's not necessarily intermediate either. It's a little bit further than that. So he does a good job. We're going to get a little zone action here. CMC just barely squeezes in between two Jags defenders. Again, one of the things that we'll kind of keep looking at is like backside on this play is Jonathan Feliciano. I mean, it's textbook how he blocks this, When you have an inside shade as a left guard and you're running zone right, what you got to do is you got to punch to allow your guy to the outside to be able to reach this textbook. So you see that allows Trent get hips around, head around, and that allows Feliciano to disengage. And look at the perfect placement that this puts him to block the linebacker. And look at the hole that's created. Now, obviously, on this side, if we could get a little bit, and this is hard for Brendel to peel back, and they do just enough. But Feliciano, man, had a really good game. He is a good player. He is a good player that I think has earned himself a lot more snaps. And obviously, we know he's playing right now for an injured Aaron Banks. But if he puts up another performance like he did in this game, I don't know how you don't start him. I don't know how you don't find a spot. Oh, my guy's in Barcelona. That's dope. I don't know how you don't find a spot. But this was a big play. We have 3rd and 8. I know you guys were like me, getting a little nervous. 3rd and 8. Don't love that. Not a high probability for conversion. Look at the look that Brock gets. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the line of scrimmage, showing 0 blitz. They have 2 defensive linemen bail out, and they bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ultimately. Their sliding protection, it looks like, to the right side, to the bailout side. This is something that pops up quite a bit with this O-line is they do these overload blitzes where they are able to decipher which side they're sliding, and then they overload the backside. And Christian McCaffrey, Feliciano, and Aaron Banks, or excuse me, Trent Williams do a phenomenal job of picking it all up. Look at that. Look at that. We'll get a better look at that, but let's look at the throw. Absolute dime. Outside the numbers. Outbreaking route. Puts it only where Juwan can get it. And it's not bad coverage. The dude's right there. But that's a ball that you have to put out in front of Juwan, and that's the only place you can put it. If you underthrow it, if you don't put any juice on that, that ball could be undercut and picked off, and you're talking about a pick 6 easily. And again, when you talk about Brock Purdy's ability to throw darts, throw with zip, understand coverages and leverages, to be able to put this ball only where, I mean, perfect. That's where you want to put the football. That's how it's coached to be. And again, these are dangerous throws because if you throw inside at all, that could be pick 6 territory. So that's a good throw. It might not make the highlight reels, but that's a really quality throw by Brock Purdy. And again, look at the O-line up front. CMC, Brendel, and Burford on high alert. The second they see those guys drop out, Brendel immediately redirects back. CMC does a phenomenal job stepping up. I mean, CMC is going to get all the credit in the world for all the touchdowns and what he does as a rusher and a passer. CMC is a phenomenal blocker. I mean, he is such a crucial point in this offense's protections. And this is a perfect example of basically at this moment in time, as we are looking at this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 on 3. So they're overloaded. Kittle's releasing, they're sliding protection to the right side. So that means Brendel, Burford, and McKivitz are taking their kick steps to the right. And that leaves these three on an island with those four. And you can see how well they do to pass this off. Feliciano understands that they have to work to the outside. Great job. Great job. Doesn't get home. Beautiful. Great protection. Great protection. Great job, Jawan, on the catch. Great job, Purdy, on the throw, and great protection by the O-line and Christian McCaffrey up front. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. And it was really good to see. It was really good to see Deebo Samuel back out here. It was great to see Deebo back out here. A little flip out, quick pass, nice and easy, nothing crazy. All right. On this next play, I know a lot of people talked about this play. So this is the one where Deebo Samuel's going to come open, but unfortunately, Brock is sacked and isn't able to complete the play. Let's just take a look, see why it was why the breakdown happened, and kind of evaluate and identify what actually happened on this play, where you did have Deebo open over the middle. So first of all, I don't know how this isn't a free play, because obviously this isn't a direct shot down the line of scrimmage, but that feels like his head is, I don't know, is that across the line of scrimmage? Kind of seems like it. I don't know. But anyways, let it play out. As you can see, Debo's wide open. I think Brock would have found it, but he gets pressure in his face, gets the sack. So I'm going to look at it from this angle. So on the line of scrimmage, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Brock immediately identifies that the overload is coming from to the right side. As you can see, they're sliding protection to the left. They're overloading the weak side. CMC does a great job of coming across the formation, getting a piece of Allen. But again, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on 3. So they get the matchup they're looking for. And so Brock immediately bails because he understands that that pressure is coming, but you get a stunt right here from the interior. This looks like edge linebacker, and the linebacker does a good job of identifying Brock is spinning out of the pocket. But unfortunately, Trent is just not in the best leverage for that particular outcome. And so defender's able to come free and he's able to get the sack. So that's what I would quantify as just a defensive play working for the 49ers, even though they had a potential touchdown. Again, they got overloaded, and it just turned into a better play for the defense. Purdy is automatic. Again, we talked about this. He is automatic right here. Hits Brandon Ayuk. Easy money. I love it. I love the play design because, as you can see, they're bringing a blitz. So bringing 5. Looks like we have man coverage across the board with a single high safety, and CMC is going to be stacked basically behind Ayuk. CMC is going to sit it down. Oh, this is the one where they called OPI, right? They called OPI on this, I think, which seems ticky tack. I remember they called OPI on this play, right? Seems very ticky tack to call OPI on that one. But also, look, you're going to get Josh Allen go one-on-one with Jonathan Feliciano. Look at how well Feliciano gets his hands inside. Boom. Sinks the hips, anchors, and keeps Allen in front of him. And then Purdy has to whip this ball around Allen right to Ayuk. But that's a great job. That's a quote unquote backup offensive lineman going up against one of the sack leaders in the NFL and just holding him in place. So that's a really good job. And then of course Purdy comes and whips it around. But that was the OPI call. But overall, Brock was balling. Brock had a great day. I felt like the offensive line played really well. They didn't play really well, to be honest. Okay, let me reset this. They didn't play really well, but they played well within the confines of what they had to do. And they were able to give their guys a chance. There's plenty of room for improvement with the boys up front, but okay, why was this a penalty? Oh, the reason why I'm showing this one is because it was a holding penalty on Trent Williams. But this is a difficult throw. It obviously doesn't count because you get a penalty, but let's look at it. Purdy's going to get pressure almost instantly. He's able to make Walker miss, flips his hips, and somehow gets this ball beyond the defender and delivers it on a rope to Deebo Samuel. Again, it doesn't count the holding, but this throw is fantastic. Watch it again from this angle. Feels the pressure on the backside, makes him miss. Look at where he throws this from. Has to flip his hips and get this by 23 and throws it on a rope to the outside. That's a good throw. That is a good throw. Now, obviously, doesn't count, but that's a good throw. This next play was the one that went a little bit viral. Trent Williams is going to get out in space, and then the defensive back is going to run away from Trent, which I think is a sound business decision. I think that's a sound business decision. Just run away. Trent talked about it. He's like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a DB just run away from me before, but I think that was sound. I think that's sound business decision for the defensive back. Just watch 31, just runs away. It's like, yeah. Yeah, Trent Williams is running at me. I am screwed. I'm just going to run away. I'm just going to run away. Don't worry, Gab. We'll show the Juice touchdown for sure. We got a nice Juice block right here if you want to enjoy that. Look at Juice. A little bit of slippage with the feet action, but he still put him down. Still put him down. That's a scary sight when Trent Williams is running full speed at you. So I'm okay. I'm okay with the defensive back running away. I would have probably done the same. That's very intimidating sight. Great blocking on this screen. And again, another example of Jonathan Feliciano playing well, getting out in space. Both Trent and Feliciano do a great job here. Both get to their spot. Trent with his veteran holding, love it. Feliciano, again, as an offensive lineman, when you're on a screen, you're on a track. I don't think you aim for a player, you aim for a spot. And because Feliciano's aiming for the spot, even if the defender is going to go on the inside, that's fine. Stay on your track. And if they're going to try to undercut you, fine. Slip your hips back around. CMC is able to read it, and he's able to cut right off his hip. Honestly, I think if CMC stays more vertical here and he runs up the bottom of the numbers, might have been a touchdown. I feel like because he cuts back inside, I know he's cutting back inside because of 32, but he kind of cuts back and cuts off the angle. I think if he just went straight, he might have had a chance at making even a bigger gain, but really good job blocking up front. That's nice work. That's nice work. Purdy was dotting it up, man. Here's another dot from Brock to Deebo Samuel. Another play action, naked boot. Just another day in the office. Just another day in the office for Brock, making it look easy. Man, look at the sell. When you can sell run this hard and look at the way the entire defense is reacting to it, that's huge. And then Purdy just watch it from this angle. This is going to be a nicer angle with Purdy out in space, stopping his feet, and then putting the ball again in the perfect spot. He has to wait. He can't throw to the initial window. I think ideally this would be the first window that he would like to throw into. But with the linebacker fading, he has to stop his momentum and then flips it to the second window, basically. So this is a good throw. This is an example of patience and understanding where to put the ball, and he puts it on Deebo. Like, that's a dart. That's a lawn dart. That's on a rope. I'm really happy with Purdy, man. Like, if you want to talk about some of Purdy's decision making, like in certain moments, yeah, of course. The turnover plays, which everyone's going to hang their hat on. But plays like this, man. Plays like this. Brock is so much like every time I watch Brock, I'm reminded how good of a player he is. I'm just reminded of like, this is an insane throw. Honestly, like, we know what it is. Brock has this perception about him, so he's going to get love and hate that kind of aligns with that. So he's not like, we're also at a point too where he had so much hype, And then that 3-game skid, now I think people are kind of scared to hype him up because they lost those 3 games in a row. This was Brock Purdy's best throw of his career, in my opinion. That counted. Um, because obviously that play in the divisional round to Brandon Ayuk, where he scrambles, pump fakes, throws to the corner, that throw was absolutely insane, but it didn't count. This throw, we'll talk about the complexity here. So you can see there are rushing 5. They've got Allen in the wide 9, just out in space, basically. And McKivitz has got to maintain inside leverage to ensure that Burford's good and then has to get out on Allen. But Allen is able to create penetration, and that is what makes this throw insanely difficult because you're going to get Brock Purdy pump. This pump fake, watch number 5 at the top of the screen and his reaction to the pump fake. He drives so hard on Brandon Ayuk. He was just waiting for that. We saw, I think one of the first plays of the game, this is what they completed effectively. Pumps it. Look at his feet, almost parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's getting damn near stepped on. Somehow has to get that back foot back so he could drive. You can see how slightly he's fading. He gets hit in the face right there. That hand swipes across his face mask. So before he even throws this ball, he gets hit in the face. He's falling back, somehow flips his hips. You can see he hits his elbow on the top of the helmet right there. Bank. And this ball just somehow drops right in the bucket. Let's see how many yards this travels without stepping into the throw, basically fading with a defender smashing him in the face at the same time. Let's take a look. So he's throwing from about the 28. So if we go about right here, that's 10. We go about right here, that's 20. We go about right here, that's 30. That's close to a 35-yard pass through the air, outside the numbers, against the sideline, and still puts the ball right in front of George Kittle to allow George Kittle to make a perfect adjustment and run back towards the middle of the field with the defenders back to him. And as a result of the ball placement, the defender's completely on the wrong angle, and I think that's why he falls and just drops it in the bucket. Kittle literally walks into the end zone. This is Brock's, I think, best completion. This is best completion of his career. Brock has now played 18 games, by the way. He has now played a full regular season worth of games. And this is, I think, his best throw. Just the complexity, the manipulation of the defender in his lap. And listen, man, if Brock Purdy didn't have arm strength, he couldn't make this throw. If Brock Purdy didn't have a quality arm, he couldn't make this throw. This throw, in my opinion, like literally demolishes any notion or any thought that anyone could potentially be holding on to that Brock Purdy, like this narrative that Brock Purdy doesn't have a quality arm to play quarterback. Like, oh, he's a good processor. No, he has good mobility, but he just doesn't have good arm. He doesn't have good arm strength. That's what you hear about with Brock Purdy all the time. Oh, he doesn't have good arm strength. He does everything else well. He just doesn't really have good arm strength. You know, like how long? How long? Like, do we just keep trying to take shots at this kid? It's fine. People get paid to do that. People get paid to take shots. Whatever. I don't care. But they just admit that they don't know ball, and that's fine. That's fine. People tell you they don't know ball. Let them tell you that. Don't argue with them. Just let them tell you they don't know ball. Dart. Dart. In this particular play, I really like that Brock Purdy's able to break free out of a sack here. Savvy move. It's really not much of a gain, but however, um, it saves the San Francisco 49ers from starting their drive like we've talked about behind the sticks. So, although it doesn't come up as a big gain, it's a quality play for Brock to be able to get out of this sack, complete it, and get another chance on second down. Watch here how the pump fake completely sells and gets the defensive lineman kind of off balance. So Purdy sees that he has a defender in front of him the whole time. This pump fake is to get those arms up and that defender off balance. And it was just enough. And he was able to break free of the arm tackle, flip it off to CMC. All right, second down. Live to play another day. Brock doesn't get enough credit for his mobility, how he moves within the pocket, how he can manipulate defenders to get out of sacks. Like, again, maybe a 1 yard gain, maybe, but we talk about, yep, there you go, 2nd and 9. That goes from a 2nd and 16 and 2nd and 17 to manageable, right? To manageable. Not able to bring this one in. He's got a lot of pressure around him. Check out Feliciano on this one. So, as an offensive lineman, you don't have anyone head up on you. Look for work. Check out Feliciano right here. So, you're going to get this pressure from the outside. Feliciano sees it, cooks him. Bang. Look for work. Puts 46 on his butt. I like that. I like that play from Feliciano. Big fan of looking for work. Look for work. Get the guy on the ground. Nice job. All right. Let's watch more Purdy darts. More Purdy darts. Look at that noodle arm. Look at that noodle arm. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard that Brock Purdy just doesn't have the arm strength to play quarterback at the NFL level? Haven't you heard? What a great throw. What a great throw. Has to deal with pressure. Unblocked looper. I mean, 95 is going to travel across country to get out. McKivitz isn't playing heads up ball, doesn't understand that they're running a loop here. He sees it late, but thank goodness Purdy is alert to it. That little half slide step in the pocket right there, that is the difference between this ball getting hit and Brock Purdy being able to navigate that crazy pocket. Fading, I might add you. Again, look at where his momentum brings him. He's basically fading opposite direction and delivers a dime over two defenders in the bucket to Brandon Ayuk. Finch, phenomenal job. Great throw. Difficult throw. High level of difficulty throw. Because he's not and that's the thing where Purdy, man, just really does a good job. The very small nuances of him moving in the pocket just make the difference for the success that they're able to find, and how he helps the offensive line. Um, if they do a good job or they don't do a good job, he's able to maneuver it and feel it and still stay on time and complete passes. Another good throw. So, I mean, what you're going to see here is Brock basically keeping the safety honest. As you can see, Brock is looking to the right. Safety opens up his hips to that direction. And then right away, Brock comes back, sees the coverage, finds Kittle, and just that slight move. Like Kittle has to take a shot here. But because of Brock Purdy's eye manipulation of holding like that right there holds the safety just enough for Brock to come back and deliver a dart. Take a look here. See the safety's reaction to Brock. See how that moves him out half a step. See how that could have went from if that safety doesn't move out of that zone just that half a step, that puts him in a favorable position to intercept this pass. So eye manipulation obviously is a huge part of Purdy's game. And you can see right there how he helps get guys open just by how he is able to work through his progressions. And again, continues to prove why he's playing at another level. This is my favorite Feliciano rep of the day. Great blocking here by Trent Williams and Jonathan Feliciano. I mean, just phenomenal. Phenomenal work. Great job. Great job by the entire O-line, if we're being honest. Feliciano has a hard task. He has to reach block this. So as you can see, Feliciano's main goal is to get his head across to the opposite side shoulder, try to get his hips around. So he does, and as an offensive lineman, having first and second step quickness is huge to being able to reach an inside shaded defender. So he's able to that's the positioning you want right there. See that head placement by Feliciano? That's textbook. Boom. Hips. See the hips? Now, credit 52 because he's going to continue to try to fight over the top of Feliciano. and Feliciano stays engaged. The defender tries to disengage the block and make the tackle, but that is a death wish for an offensive lineman who has a grasp of you, because the second you try to stop fighting against the O lineman and you try to make a tackle, you're going to the turf. You're getting bodied. Bang. Cooked them. Bang. You ain't getting that tackle, boy. You getting bodied. Woo! Good job. Love that. Love that. Then you got Trent kicking out 33, creates a natural hole. Great job here by Burford to be able to get enough movement and no penetration on the front side. Brendel's able to get his hat on the backer. I like that. I like that. I'm telling you, man, Feliciano had a day. Feliciano was the best offensive lineman on the day. It just is what it is. He was the best offensive lineman out there versus the Jags. So again, if he puts up another performance like that, there's no way you can bench one of your best offensive linemen. You just can't do it. So if Feliciano comes out, and again, he's getting such a great opportunity because of Banks' injury, and he'll get another opportunity this week. And again, if he puts up another performance, there's no way that you can take him out. Look at Deebo. Nice little end around for the touchdown. Blockers out in front. I love the play design to make it look like a power run to the right and it's end around to the left. Brendel downfield. Trent Williams downfield. Juwan Jennings with the seal. Great job by Jennings getting the seal block right there. So good to see Deebo Samuel back. Good to see that impact back on the field for the 49ers. This is going to be a pretty quality run by CMC. Again, good blocking by the left side. Brendel, Feliciano. Look at that double. Textbook double. See how they split the man? Split the man. See how Feliciano's left hand is free and he's got eyes on the linebacker. And when the linebacker starts to over pursue, Feliciano peels. He can't even get his right hand because it's stuck on the defender. You could see right there, but he still blocks him with one hand. And that's a great double by Brendel and Feliciano right there. McKivitz gets just enough. Burford gets just enough. And then you can see the crease for CMC to fit right through. I like that. And last but not least, is Gav in here? Oh, there he is. There's Gav. There's Gav. We got the juice touchdown. Juice. I like Juice getting involved. I'm all for Juice getting involved. I know CMC's probably like, I wish that was my touchdown, but I love Juice getting involved. The other thing too that I really like about this is Brock Purdy directing traffic. You get a good sense of these two being on the same page. As you can kind of see right here, the route kind of has Juice flattening this right here at about the 10, but obviously Brock sees this green pastures out in front of Juice. So he points Juice upfield. Juice makes the adjustment. Brock throws over a defender right to Juice for a touchdown. This is some backyard football. This is Brock Purdy being a leader on the field. Go upfield. This is him seeing the field. Don't flatten out. Go up. Go up. Boom. Perfect. That's an ad lib. That's not how it's designed. It's not designed like this. So because Brock points him upfield, that affects the trajectory of the throw. It affects the trajectory of the route, and so that all that being the case and still being able to hit him in between the numbers is fantastic. Brock's the guy, man. It's just what it comes down to. It's so easy to see on tape. It's so easy to see. But, however, Brock did get benched this game. He got benched mid-drive. I love his ability to throw over defenders. So good. I'm so happy that Brock is our quarterback. Like I can't stress it enough. Like I'm just so like we've watched so much Jimmy Garoppolo on this channel, you know, like it's night and day. It is just night and day watching Brock Purdy execute this offense. And yeah, the offense and the weapons around him are fantastic, but you have to understand that Brock is elevating these guys. You hear about what makes a good quarterback, like, oh, the quarterback's got to elevate the players around him. I think he's doing that. Like when I look at that Juice touchdown, that is a walk-in touchdown, one because of how it was designed, but it was up to Brock to make the ad lib to force Juice and point him to the middle of the field and then make the adjustment on the throw to have it be a touchdown. Like that's nice. So we got one more throw. I think it's this one, 3rd and 6, and then Kyle says, "I seen enough. Ride the pine, Brock." Dude, look at Brock, man. I talked about this at the beginning. Like these are just routine throws for him at this point. The, like these are routine throws. And watch what he has to do inside the pocket. Do you see that? Like this isn't hitting his back foot and ripping. This is hitting his back foot. Oh no, unblocked defender. Let me step up and let this rip as I get hit. Just to deliver a freaking dart 30 yards downfield. Watch it from this angle. The adjustment Purdy has to make in the pocket prior to resetting and throwing. See that? That little, oh, I got to move a little bit. Watch where his feet end up, how they start and where they end up. He does like a 180 throw and delivers a dart. And then Kyle Shanahan said, "You know what? You know what, Brock? Ride the pine. Ride the pine, Brock. We want to see Sammy." So Brock got benched mid-drive, and I know why, because he got tackled on that play. And Kyle's like, "You know what? I'm smarter than this." Oh, the Raiders have claimed Jack Jones. What a perfect fit. Um, over under on Jack Jones. Uh, over under on Jack Jones going on Instagram Live and flashing guns in about 3 weeks. Sorry. That was a tasteless Damon Arnett joke. I apologize. But the Raiders claim Jack Jones off waivers from the Patriots. That seems like a terrible fit. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Pierce can get him back on track. Hey, the Raider way, I guess, right? How do I feel about Lenore and Thomas adjustment? It worked. I haven't watched the defensive tape yet, so I still have to kind of dive in and kind of study it more. But from what I saw on the broadcast, it looked like it worked. So, but I am going to do the defensive tape. Gav says, "Brad, you doing the defensive breakdown tomorrow? I'll be here for it." Yeah, I'm gonna do the defensive film breakdown. I'm gonna try to do it probably around 11:30 tomorrow. So we'll do the full defensive film breakdown. I still got to break down the tape, but I'll do the tape tonight, and then we'll break it down on the show about 11:30 because we do have we're going to be doing state of the franchise tomorrow with the Ponte at 1:45. So I'm going to try to do the defensive breakdown probably around 11:30 Pacific Standard Time. So we'll do defense for sure. We'll do defense for sure tomorrow, and I really want to watch the defense because they balled out. Justin says, "Yo, man, I don't know what it means, but Cooper, is it BB? Bebe? BB? Cooper BB is one of the top guards in the country right now, and his dad has been liking all my tweets about the 49ers drafting him." Okay. I like it. Start it up. Start manifesting it. For sure. We want to put that energy out there. Because I do think the offensive line, they need to continue to pour resources into the offensive line. They've gotten by for sure, but hey, I mean, you guys know me. Every single draft season, I'm trying to draft offensive linemen. The 49ers just don't ever listen to me. But I'm always trying to add offensive line. It's just how I feel like you should always do that. Like offensive line, you can never have enough good offensive linemen. And if you do have enough good offensive linemen, then that's a great problem to have because then you could flip them for additional assets because having good offensive linemen isn't a foregone conclusion. So I do expect with the 49ers 10 remaining draft picks, that offensive line is for sure going to be something that they look into. Defensive tape will put those lies about Kinlaw to the rest. I mean, I've been happy with Kinlaw all year. I don't know. It went from like Kinlaw's having a good season to all of a sudden Kinlaw's a liability, and I don't know when that occurred or why that occurred. I've always thought Kinlaw's played well this year. But yeah, I'm excited to do the defensive tape. I really am. So definitely going to be doing defensive tape tomorrow. Deebo or BA, Gammon says. Deebo trendsetter, BA tone setter. Are you asking me to pick one? Yeah, I talked about Jack Jones. I just talked about that. Are asking me to make me make the hard decision of picking between Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Pick one. That's so I'm going to give you some nuance to this answer. All right, Gammon. I'm going to give you some nuance here. So you're going to, that $2 is going to get you some nuance. I'm not going to just pick one and be done with it. Give you some nuance to the answer. If Jimmy Garoppolo was the 49ers quarterback, it would 150 million% be Deebo Samuel. It would be Deebo without a question. Wouldn't even consider it. But the difference is with Brock Purdy at quarterback is Brock pushes the ball downfield. And as a result of Brock Purdy pushing the ball downfield and his favorite target being Brandon Ayuk, I would probably lean Brandon Ayuk because Brandon Ayuk is a player who's going to win deep, win over the middle on, again, these deeper in-breaking routes that we've talked about when we broke down on film. Like that's Ayuk's bread and butter, and it fits perfectly with Purdy. They fit each other very well. I think their skill set aligns better. And obviously, Deebo Samuel is going to be a player who can get the ball behind the line of scrimmage, who can get the ball on screens and make a lot of plays after the catch. But I think right now, Brandon Ayuk's ability to win downfield and win as a prototypical kind of route runner and wide receiver aligns better with Brock Purdy. The Jets released Michael Carter. Hey-oh. That's crazy. I remember watching Michael Carter at the Senior Bowl coming out of North Carolina. That's a bit of a surprise. That is a bit of a surprise. I think Michael Carter has some talent. It just never came to fruition with the Jets. That will be it. I would assume Michael Carter gets claimed. That's a bit of a surprise. Jack Jones to the Raiders. Michael Carter, running back for the Jets, released. Interesting. Sorry, Squirrel. Hopefully that answered your question, Gammon. Cash Money says, Brad, can you believe that people had Dallas ahead of us in the power rankings? If I'm going to be as bluntly honest as possible, I really don't care for the power rankings and kind of I think I have personally, like, we had a lot of fun with the power rankings early on in the season. We had a lot of fun with, people giving us our flowers and all that type of stuff. But after the 3-game losing streak and not winning for a month, I think I just don't care about that anymore. Like, I would rather the Dallas Cowboys be ahead of us right now. I think I would rather have the Ravens be ahead of us, Miami be ahead of us from a perception standpoint. Like, I'm much more comfortable And I don't know if, the 49ers feel like this, but I'm much more comfortable from a perception standpoint of the outside noise and the outside people believing that the 49ers aren't as good as they think they are. So, I'm honestly not worried about it. I can believe it. I can 100%. And that's kind of where I want it to stay. I want it to stay. I want people to underestimate the 49ers. I want people to talk crap on us. I kind of like I'm here for it. I'm here for it. You wanna bury us in your power rankings? That's fine. In fact, it's welcomed. It's a welcomed sight. So, we'll see. We'll see, but I like people sleeping on the 49ers for sure. That's how I want it. I want people to continue to sleep on Brock. I want people to continue to sleep on the 49ers defense, all that type of stuff. I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. So, again, one of the biggest takeaways from the tape is the offense looks fantastic. I think there's plenty of room for improvement in the run game from an offensive line standpoint, and it was easy to see how Jonathan Feliciano entering that group actually helped them, and they played well in that situation and that scenario. So I think there's some good stuff ahead of us with this team. My biggest concerns came more from the defensive side of the football. Just the defense and the uncharacteristic play that we saw and the compounding of issues with, Steve Wilks and just feeling like there was a massive disconnect happening. Um, so uh, I think we're back on track. I've always had less worries about the offense than the defense these last 3 weeks. Um, and so I still think the offense can improve and get better. Um, but the defense was more concerning, I think. So the fact that they bounced back was huge. All right. So on that note, we will do the defensive film breakdown. Um, and I'm really excited to actually get into the defensive tape. So we'll do the defensive film breakdown tomorrow on the channel. I would say be alert, be lurking around the channel, be checking in around 11:30 Pacific Standard Time if you want to check in on the defensive film breakdown, where I'll share a bunch of cut ups and clips, and we'll just kind of watch and see the difference, see the addition of Chase Young and all these different types of things. And so we'll do defensive film breakdown tomorrow. Brock, to me, not a concern. Hasn't been a concern really ever. The only thing these last couple of weeks was just taking care of the football. That was really it. Um, Justin says, Brad, do you think with us trying to trade for Surtain, this regime is finally ready to spend a first on a corner? Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, what I find potentially interesting is if the San Francisco 49ers head into the draft and yeah, maybe they're identifying players in the draft, but what if they like took that first and they traded it for a player that they know is good? So, like maybe around the draft time, they pick up more conversations with the Bears and Jalen Johnson potentially, and seeing how that situation plays out, because we know that they ultimately didn't trade Jalen at the deadline, and maybe they come to their senses, lower their price a little bit, and maybe the 49ers can still go after a guy who's already proven it in the league. But based on the 49ers' continued shuffling of their cornerbacks, that tells me that they do not feel comfortable at all with where they are at from their kind of defensive back standpoint, with the top three guys. I think they feel pretty comfortable with Lenore and Ward, but I think based on what I'm seeing is they want Diamador to develop into Jimmy Ward. I think that's what they're looking for. They're looking for Demo to be that kind of in the box guy, who can, play more press man, potentially line up with tight ends, just be a guy that plays closer to the line of scrimmage because Demo is a physical cornerback and he tackles well. It's just for whatever reason he's having a hard time recently. So I see it more as the 49ers want to get a solidified number one corner, outside corner. I think they just really want to focus on getting an outside guy that they can not worry about because, like, I think Ward is a good cornerback. Um, but if Ward could be the number two and you have a legitimate number one, those guys would go crazy. I really feel like that. Like, if you got a guy who was better than Ward and that was on the outside, that and you had Demo in the slot, like that would be difficult. That would be really difficult to stop. Um, so the fact that the 49ers have been very aggressive from what we've heard about getting more edge help, which they did. They got two defensive ends and potentially going out and getting a number one corner. I definitely think, like, if we're gonna talk draft a little bit too soon, and Justin, you have definitely got me kind of energized in the draft. So, like, before I wasn't really thinking about the draft, but I've kind of been poking around. And what starts with identifying team needs. Heading into the draft, I'm gonna say tackle is at the top of the list. Um, Still getting more edge at the top of the list. Um, Investing maybe a second, third, fourth round pick into an interior defensive tackle, cornerback, um, safety depth. There's going to be plenty of spots for the 49ers to be looking at this in the draft, for whether they want a starter or depth. So the draft you got me kind of excited on the draft, Justin. I'm starting to think about it a little bit. Starting to be like, oh, tight end, because I don't know. I don't know what Latu's going to be next year. So you got me thinking about tight end, or you got me thinking about the draft. So going to be very interesting to see what we get from these San Francisco 49ers moving forward. But before we can even really get into the draft too much, and we'll do our scouting for sure. I'm going to definitely pick up the scouting big time this year. But before we can do that, we got a season to win. We got some stuff in front of us. So we'll get to the draft. There's definitely places for the roster to improve or get more depth. So we'll definitely talk about that for sure. And I'm starting to kind of peek over at college ball and pay attention a little bit more. Start kind of trying to build some lists and kind of be ready to go. Hey, I like when I think it was you, might have been someone else. The timing was very similar. I think it was like someone asked me about tackles, and I started going out, and I started doing some homework on tackles. So I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there. It also helps too with like some of the guys that I really liked in the draft this year are like balling out right now. So I'm like, yeah, I'm getting reminds me of like why I love the draft so much. And the 49ers got 10 picks still and a first rounder. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But all right. All right. All right. All right. Tomorrow. Defensive film breakdown around 11:30. I got tape to crush. Oh, interesting. The Steelers have released Joey Fisher from the practice squad. I wonder if Joey would re-sign with the 49ers. I know the 49ers have been adding offensive line to the practice squad. I wonder if they would bring back Joey Fisher. That would be interesting. Joey Fisher was with the 49ers in camp. But get your cookies on your way out. Appreciate everyone tapping in on the film breakdowns. We'll do a defensive film breakdown tomorrow, and I think people are excited to see what the defense was cooking. So we'll get into that tomorrow. Appreciate everyone. As always, grab your cookies on the way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to